Hello everyone, we are here at my buddy's Ricky's place to get an update on his 1970 the Nova funny car, and they got the paint finished. This thing is awesome, so let's take a look at it. And here it is. Tell us the inspiration behind the paint job.
My son drove a 1970 Nova to high school that we painted basically just like this car, and it was called Burnin' Love. And he sold it probably about 12-15 years ago. And when we started to get ready to go funny car racing, we had three bodies in mind. We either wanted a Nova, a Monza, or a Vega. You know, that was the three. And this Nova body become available. We knew the car. It had been raced in the series that we're going to race in. And so at first we were going to kind of go with a paint job we had seen in the past, colors that we liked, and the idea just come to us, man, why don't we relive the days of your Nova funny cars, your Nova that you drove to high school. So that's what we did. That was his wife's, one of her favorite cars, and so we recreated. Basically the big change was we added the gold leafing around all the panels.
Yeah.
Being a funny car, we just wanted to put a little more gold leaf into it. But it's to the point we're fixing to put the motor and transmission in it probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then after the first year, hopefully get it wired and plumbed and ready for fire up about maybe the end of January.
You're gonna have the exhaust coming out right there?
The zoomies coming out right there.
Oh, nice. Just flush with the body, or kind of?
No, they'll come out and up. Come out and up.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah. We're going to go with a traditional look on them. The sweet, where they're kind of swept back just a little bit.
This thing's looking nice, and I've watched your updates on when you were doing the gold leaf. It's just crazy detail work like that.
Yeah, the engine turning, there's a lot of it on there, but man, in the end, it's well worth it to get the end result.
Oh yeah. So what kind of power plant you going to be putting in here?
We've got a 565 cubic inch rare Morrison big block Chevrolet. We should end up somewhere in the 1600 horsepower range.
Wow.
So this car will run the 8th mile in 4.5 seconds.
Woo, man.
So yeah, it'll be pretty quick. There's a lot faster cars out there, but for us, this is a big step up. From a 580, 590 second car down to a 4.5 second car. So Michael's basically fixing to be going between a second and a half faster, which is a big adjustment. We got to get some seat time, and with this, he has to actually be licensed. So we have to get him to a point that we can get him licensed before we can actually enter it in competition.
Yeah, because you have to have some seat time and practicing and licensed in the fact that you can actually control that much horsepower.
Right. The big portion of change for any driver is going to be the 60 to 150 foot mark, because that's the violent part of the launch that gets the car moving really fast to make those kind of ETs. And so your brain has to make that adjustment and slow the process down, because we're normally in the old car, the old Anglia, he was probably making maybe 4 or 5 decisions in 150 feet. He's going to be making 10 or 12 here in 150 feet. You got to make a lot of decisions to not tear the car up, not tear somebody else's car up.
Yeah. So know when to back out or shut it down.
That's right. Know when to give it up, and or when you have the ability to get it back under control. So all those things come with just seat time, and so we're hoping maybe to have it so maybe by mid to end February, when Holly Springs down here opens up, we can go down there and test for a few weeks and just do half tracks, and just get that part under our belt. Plus, we got to dial the chassis in where to launch straight too. So a lot of that early time is trying to tune the chassis in. This car did run in the series we're going to run with. So this car run good. It runs straight. We're putting almost the identical combination in it that they were running. The big block, Power Glide. So we're hoping that the chassis tuned close enough that it won't take us too many runs to get the launch dialed in, and then Michael will start putting a hammer to it and adjust himself to it.
Yeah. Tell us about the Elvis Possum.
Well, the name of my shop is the Possum Killer Garage.
Yeah.
And I paint a lot of rat finks, and I've done some Elvis rat finks, and so we got to talking about the car. And for the old funny car days, most of them had some kind of mascot with the car and the car name. So my buddy Bo Dahl goes by the name Bo Van Gogh on Instagram. If anybody wants to look him up, really good local artist. And so I told him, I said, man, do you think you could design me a Elvis possum think? And he said, yeah, man, give me a few weeks. And so a couple weeks later, he comes back to me and sends me this. Says, what do you think? And it couldn't have been more perfect. And so yeah, it's pretty cool to have some of our buddies along for the ride, you know, helping us with the car and just doing some things. Ronnie Giesland and Senatobi's helping us a lot with the motor and the transmission and getting the car tuned. It's a new venture for me, where we're running a full data acquisition setup. So, you know, everything on the car, we can tune it by computer. When I say we can download the information, and then the computer will tell us
what you need to change,
what we need to change.
Okay.
And that's something that we didn't have to do with the Anglia. We could still tune it the old way, pretty much by the seat of our pants. And so I've got to learn all that. Ronnie's already into that with their front engine dragster. So he's really going to help us a lot this first year, so that I can learn how to, as he said, I've got to learn to trust the computer.
Yeah.
And that's hard for somebody to do that's never done it.
It's old school meets new school, having to learn the ways of new school.
Right, because in today's time, especially with the horsepower we're running, to not hurt equipment, that's one of the big things. To be able to not hurt the motor, the computer is your salvation in that respect, because the computer can read all the info and tell you if it's fat, if it's lean, what cylinders are, you know, firing hotter than other stuff. Things that in the old days you'd have burned a motor down figuring it out by the seat of your pants. The computer helps you control all that, and it just you don't have the time anymore, because everybody else is running that. So if you don't run it, you can't stay caught up. You know, they're ahead of you. So it's almost mandatory that you run that kind of setup nowadays.
Yeah. Trusting the computer and knowing when to change small stuff to get that extra tenth of a second.
That's right. That's right. And in some cases nowadays, that extra thousandth of a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you got your golf cart down here done up too.
Yeah,
let's go take a look at that.
Yeah, you got your golf cart's got to match, man. You know, that's just part of it.
Definitely has to match. It's got all your stickers on there from
races,
races and all that. That's definitely cool.
Yeah, and it's also, you know, this comes our tow vehicle. You know, because you have to tow the car back to the pits after a run. Drive it back. So we've got a hitch underneath that step plate back there where we can tow the race car with it, and then of course the extra seats. You can't run a car like this without a few crew people along with you. You know? So got to make room for them also.
And there's, you got your asphalt cowboy back there.
Yeah, it's actually getting ready for a motor change this winter.
That's right. You said you had a special head for it.
I've actually got a whole new motor for it. I got a 292 Chevy 6-cylinder, and with my Sissel head on it, we're hoping to put about another 150 horsepower in that thing.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
I definitely can't wait to see that thing go down the track, trying to hearing all that monster horsepower you got on that.
And we'll call you when we get ready to fire it. You know, when we get ready to make smoke out of it, we'll give you a buzz and come over here for the fire up.
Oh, definitely. I will definitely be looking forward to that. Y'all go check out my video I got on this thing. Him talks about everything on it, and there's the 1970 Nova funny car, and hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.